Hey, what's up guys, it's Chels. Before we get into today's video, just a quick reminder, it's Cyber Monday. We got deals all over the place on wheels, tires, and suspension, accessories, and much more. You're not gonna wanna miss out on it. It's the best deals that we have all year round. We got some crazy stuff going on, like I said, wheels, tires, suspension, accessories, you name it. Cyber Monday, fitmentindustries.com, check it out. If there's one thing that really just seems to get the internet comment sections going and makes the keyboard warriors just stand at attention, it's when we talk about either stretch tires or negative camber. Whenever it's brought up, you have accusations being thrown left and right by people who have just actually, ran a good amount of camber, swearing that it's not that bad. The one guy who's just there to stir shit up, and the original poster just sitting there going, what the f have I actually done? Well, we are gonna take another shot at it because why not, I guess. Just why not? And talk about one of the main arguments when it comes down to running an amount of negative camber on your vehicle, and that is whether or not running any kind of camber on your car will kill the tires. And that's what we're gonna be talking about on today's episode of Myth or Fact. But real quick, we're in the midst of the holiday season, and that means we have deals going on like all over the place at fitmentindustries.com right now. So if you have been looking around for some new wheels, tires, or suspension, now is the time to probably go check it out while it lasts. Other than that, we started our own wheel brand. It's called Artists of Wheels. It's pretty neat. Pre-orders available right now. Really appreciate it. No big deal or anything. But anyway, you already know we have to go over a little bit of a backstory of where this whole thing all came from. So what exactly is camber? Where did it come from? All that sort of good stuff. Like most things, it stems from the world of motorsports. Negative camber is a direct effect of lowering a vehicle. The way the vehicle's suspension geometry is laid out causes this effect when the car is lowered. It's called natural camber, and since most performance cars have a lowered ride height to keep the center of gravity low, it just makes sense. In the world of motorsports, suspension plays a huge factor when it comes down to setting up a vehicle properly to what the driver needs. In most cases, in drift or circuit racing, more negative camber is added to help with tire contact when the car is under a G-force load going around a corner. But here's the thing, all right? No one really seems to care about that. You know why? Because those cars aren't the ones that are stirring up all the arguments. No, it's the ones with the 15 to 20 degrees of negative camber bouncing down the road on 100K springs, causing all the shit, all right? Those are the ones that are starting the arguments. So let's talk about those. When looking at cars with a good amount of camber, it's pretty obvious just by looking at the pictures that there's a good portion of the tire that isn't even making contact at all with the road, making people come to the conclusion that those tires are going to wear out in a matter of a couple of days. And that necessarily isn't really the case at all. But they're literally out of alignment, you can see it. And yes, that is true. However, when you're looking at alignment of a vehicle, camber is not going to be the biggest thing that you're going to be worried about. Actually, it's pretty far at the bottom of the list. Because when lowering a vehicle, camber isn't the only thing that gets affected. Depending on the suspension geometry of your car, you might have to deal with quite a bit of toe adjustment when dropping your car. And that is specifically what is going to kill your tires faster than anything else. Camber, as we know, brings in the top of your wheels and tires like this. But toe, on the other hand, toe brings in the side of your wheels and tires like this. So when lowering your car quite a bit, and depending on what type of car you have, this is something that you might have to take into consideration and buy some sort of adjustable control arm or something to counteract that. The best way to describe it is as a pair of skis. If your skis are pointed straight down the mountain, you're gonna have the least amount of friction and drag going down the mountain. Everything's gonna be fine. But as soon as you bring the tips of your skis together, you start to create more friction and drag, and you start to slow down. The same thing happens with your tires when you have toe, and that is what's going to wear them faster, since you're creating more drag and friction against the tire. Does that make sense? So does that mean that camber has no negative effects at all when it comes to your tires? Well, not exactly. In most cases, if you are running a natural amount of camber or have just a few degrees here and there to help dial in your fitment, you're going to be just fine. But as we know, right, that isn't always the case, and people like to take things to the extreme. When fitting some really wide wheels that require an excessive amount of camber, this is where you start to see those issues come into play. The first thing that you'll probably encounter is traction issues, of course, and debeating issues and other things like that, but that's a whole nother video. You really won't start running into any wear issues until you get to the point where your literally only contact to the road is outside or near the end of the tread pattern of your tire. And you know exactly what I'm talking about. Cars with the extreme negative camber where it looks like they're literally running on the sidewalls and you're like, how the hell does the actual barrel of the wheel not hit the ground? Those parts of the tire are never meant to come in contact with anything, especially the road. And yes, they will wear extremely fast, but you know what? They are well aware of that fact. They know that what they're doing isn't by any sense practical, but they do it because they love it, right? So with all that being said, if you're looking at lowering your car or adding a little bit of camber to get that fender to lip fitment that you're wanting, don't be worried about the wear of your tires. If you're running camber for a performance setup like drifting, you aren't even gonna be worried about it in the first place, you're just gonna burn them off in a few laps. Anyway, the biggest thing is just to keep your toe in alignment and don't run, you know, negative 20 degrees camber, and you'll be good to go. We'd love to know your thoughts down in the comments section below. And of course, if you like this video, please hit that thumbs up, and of course, don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to check out all the wheels, tires, and suspension, all available over at fitmentindustries.com. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let us know what you'd like us to cover in the next episode of Myth or Fact down in the comments below. I'm Giles from Fitment Industries. We'll see you later. Peace. Boop.